Another song I had the great pleasure of writing with Mr. Michael McDonald.
Kenny Loggins, everybody.
There have been challenges in my life. I've been wondering why. Still somehow I believe we'd always survive. Now I'm not so sure you were here. Just what good reason to try? Lord, what more can I say? But what's left to provide?
You think, baby, it's over. Not if you don't want it to be.
I'm gonna wait for a sign, a miracle. We'll stand up and fight, sing it out tonight.
Susan,
yes, make down the stay when you roll.
Susan,
Your back's to the corner.
this is it.
Don't be a fool anymore.
Susan,
The waiting is over.
nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Time for wondering why. It's here, the moment is now. About to decide. Let them believe in behind, but keep me near your heart. And know, whatever I do, I'll be there by your side. You said, baby, it's over. Only if you want it to be.
Oh, what's in your love? Here's your miracle. Stand up and fight.
This is it.
Make no mistake where you are. You're going to
This is it.
until it's over and gone.
No one can tell you for you know. You make the choice of how to go.
It's not up to me this time.
You know.
There was a day in your life. Make no mistake when you are. You're going over.
This is it.
Until it's over and gone.
This is it. No one can tell what the future holds.
Nobody can tell. Nobody knows.
You make the choice of how to go.
You may be on this horse in your time.
No one can tell what the
Nobody can tell what you know. Walk and see what the future holds.
You make the choice of how
It's up to you, you.
Kenny Loggins, everybody. Kenny Loggins. The great Kenny Loggins, everybody.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. I greet you all who are hungry and thirsty for the truth that guides to righteousness. I greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's salam alaikum. I want to give those who may have some argument against anything that I teach or that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. We are not the people who put ourselves out in the public and expect the public to hear us, but not criticize us if they feel that they have some legitimate criticism. That shows a lack of wisdom for you to put yourself up as a public figure and deny people the right to argue with you if they have what they think is a legitimate argument. You ought to hear them. And you know, the wonderful thing about that is that generally when one person disagrees with you, they're not the only one that had that disagreement with you. So you don't have to say, well, if you can't argue with everybody. Once you hear that argument, you'd be surprised how many people done talk that argument over before it got to you. And so when you let someone put the argument forth, then it satisfies the other people who had the same disagreement with you. I remember when I was in elementary school, I learned that on a different level, but it basically, you know, once you learn the very principle of that, then you can apply it on many different levels. You know, the teacher used to tell us, well, look, if you have a question, ask it. Because you can rest assured somebody else has the same question and too ashamed to ask it. So just ask the question. And then everybody can get the answer. Do you understand? And that some of you may have had the same experience with your elementary teachers. It's just like 2 times 2 being 4. You know, well, if that's the case, then anytime you get 2 times 2, whether it's 20 times 20, then you know that's 400, right? It's gonna be 4 something, right? So you don't have to long as you remember the elementary, then all elementary is the reason it's called elementary is because everything in the universe, the big stuff, is composed of little stuff, elements. So everything is actually the same thing. It's just a different mixture of it, but it's the same thing, you know. So it's the same with elementary knowledge. Your elementary knowledge, as they say, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And as you got that elementary, then you can build on that. That is your foundation to put all of the other knowledge. You just put that same knowledge in other quantities, in larger quantities, and you get bigger things. But anyway, um, let's.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You have a comment from Brother Wafiq Abdul Salam, and he says, last month the Son of Man asked us to call a television station in Detroit and give monies to keep the doors open and that he would pay us back. He insisted that this was a loan and not a donation. I checked my mailbox today and there was a check from the Son of Man repaying me the money I gave to the station. I want to thank the Son of Man because he is a man of his word.
Well, I promised everybody that I would have your money back to you within 10 months. And, I didn't say it was going to take 10 months, but within 10 months, I'm going to try to get all of you your money back. I don't like you to think that I'm standing up lying to you. Our word has to mean something. I called on you for help, and you answered me, quickly. We needed $15,000, and within 2 or 3 hours, we had $15,000. About 3.5 hours, you all loaned me $15,000 to help the station, and so I would much rather that them funds get back to you in the most expeditious manner that I can get it to you. And some of you, I've been able to send it back sooner because, but some of you, if you haven't received anything yet, you will. Just be patient with me. As we get the funds, we will send it to you, So I want all of you to know that, you can trust me to keep my word to you. And the greatest thing that I fear is besides Allah, is to let my people down. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't want you to ever be disappointed in me or me not living up to the expectation that I put in you about me. So we're going to try to always do what we say. We had some people left some comments on some of our videos. This one person, he named John Doe, and he was viewing my conversation with Mr. Neubauer, with Holger Neubauer. And he said, why do white people think Christ is coming for them? Well, actually, white people didn't think. The rulers, they never thought that. They taught you that to over here in the book of John, around the 11th chapter. That lie about Jesus dying for everybody, that was made up a long time ago. And it starts at around the 45th verse. It says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did, right here it says believed on him, but no, they believed not on him. Where if many of those who call themselves Jews believed on Jesus, why you can't find no Jews that believe on Jesus today? See how you can tell when somebody done made mischief and misrepresented something? Okay. So, says so, so they did not believe on Jesus. But some of them now it say, but some of them. No, you could have took off the some and said, but went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done and was doing. And then gathered the chief priests. Now, these are the religious people. The chief priests and the Pharisees, they gathered a council. They got together and had a meeting on Jesus. And they said, what do we? Said, what are we going to do about this man? And for this man is doing many miracles. And if we let him thus alone, if we let him continue like that, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and the nation. Now you understand where you get the term Roman Catholic Church, right? The Holy Quran tells me, it says, "O you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians for friends, for they are friends of each other. And whosoever among you takes them for friends, surely he is one of them." Okay. Now, most people have misunderstood that. Matter of fact, all of you misunderstood what it was talking about, because you keep trying to read the scriptures and apply your own thoughts that you have accumulated to the word of God. When he told you in the book of Isaiah, he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. So the meaning of words have a different meaning to Allah than they have to the spiritual mind, which is Allah, than what he gave you in the natural understanding. Do you understand? So you have to go and get the definition of friend. So the scripture says, if you do, you are my friend if you do whatsoever I command you. Okay, take not the Jews and Christians for friends. Don't obey their commandments. Do you understand? Don't let them guide you. What did the devil say he was going to do? Didn't he say he was going to cause you to deviate? Well, how can the devil cause you to deviate? You have to first trust him to guide you, to tell you what to do. You have to be his friend. Is that right? And so you were told, don't trust the guidance of the Jews and the Christians, for they follow each other's guidance. And we see that now. Israel and the U.S., they follow each other's guidance, right? Okay. Now, see, you thought that meant something else, didn't you? But anyway, no, it just meant don't trust them to guide you. And that is because you are at the end of their time now. And they are no longer the ones that can be trusted to guide you. They wasn't trustworthy when they was guiding you. That's why we are afflicted. You notice you can't, black people, especially black people in America, the ex-slave, and I use the term ex-slave in a very narrow meaning there. Because we yet have not been freed. But anyway, the scripture teaches you that we would be afflicted. Pardon me, just one moment. The scripture says of Abraham's seed, which we are the fulfillment of Abraham's seed being in servitude in a land that is not ours, and we have served them, and they have afflicted us for over now 400 years. The scripture says in the 15th chapter of Genesis, you turn to it with me. We're going to get back to John and finish the story where they made up the lie to teach you and me. And that lie been going all down through thousands. For the past 2,000 years, they've been telling that same lie, that Jesus died for us. They made up that lie a long time ago. But now it's time that you know the truth. But you go to the 15th chapter of Genesis, and at the 12th verse, at the 12th verse, it says, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. A nightmare. How did Allah say he would speak if there's a prophet? In a vision or in a dream? Huh? All right. A deep sleep fell on Abram, and a horror of great darkness fell upon him. Well, naturally, it would be he would be in the dark about it, because at that time Abraham didn't have no children. Right? Now he's seeing in a dream. It says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. You know, we are so afflicted that we don't even realize that we are afflicted. Didn't I tell you that a man that's crazy don't know he crazy? Didn't I tell you that? We walk around in America and we think we all right. And yet, you know, you look at we go through all of the motions, we lie to ourselves as though we all get along fine. And then when somebody come out and tell the truth, you say, why you want to air our dirty laundry out there in the whole public there? I thought everything was getting along fine. We need to have a united front. You know, that's what the pimps did. They fronted. He pulled out a roll of money. I mean, you see a big old wad of money, and most of it was ones, but he'd wrap it up with a few 50s and 100 and just peel them back and let you see he got, and he fronted. It's just like when you say you're in unity. But the only time you get in unity is when some crisis come up and you say, well, we got to get together. We got to get and you get together and holler and scream. But when the crisis is over, you go back to practicing what you learned in slavery, which is self-hatred, hating each other. And when you hate yourself, you don't even realize that you're afflicted. That's an affliction. That's what the William Lynch, you know, when they say Lynch that so and so, he was saying practice what Lynch told you on these niggas. Huh? That's why I called the man a nigger the other night. Because he come in here doing what he see white people do. Since when do a black man question another black man's authority to chastise his own baby? That's white folks do that. Huh? And niggas who follow white folks. I was telling him what he is. Didn't want to run around here and try to steal the title black. No, brother, you got to come out of the white man's way. The only way to get you straight is to talk to you straight. So we got issues, man. And when an attribute, when one of the characteristics that you got from being up under people who hate you and who taught you to hate yourself, when that thought to do something that they taught you and me to do, when that thought arises, the only thing that will give you power to resist that thought is the Spirit of Allah, the Word of God. Because that's why we put so many of us in the hospital every weekend. That's why we do so many outrageous things, hateful things to one another. Because we are afflicted in the worst way. You can't afflict a man any more than to mess his mind up. To give him boo-boo for brains. And so, it says it right here. It says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Now, you're in the day of judgment. If I hadn't read that to you, and I'd ask you all, what is the day of judgment about? What is that? No, I don't know. They said that's the end of the world. The end of what world? It's a whole lot of worlds. And notice, it don't say the end of the worlds. It said the end of the world. Well, that's one in particular. What world? The world that came about that we were killed at the beginning of. We were slain at the foundation of. Our minds were slain. How you know that? Because go someplace on the earth outside of America and find some more people that call themselves Negroes, that used to call themselves Negroes at any time. Find them and point them out to me. Then why was the black man and woman of America the only black people on the earth referring to themselves as Negroes? We was afflicted with mental and spiritual amnesia. So the ruffians, as they say, hit him in the head. You know, if people can give you amnesia, they hit you in the head hard enough. Now, you've seen movies like that, right? Okay. And then after robbing us of our identity, we didn't know who we were, and we didn't know who God is. That set us up to be hit in the heart, you see. In the thinking, especially the love and um, emotional attachment. And so they gave us a picture. The very ones who afflicted us gave us their picture and told us this was our Savior. You see? Now, what did that do? That created a conflict. I mean, you know, we got a song, oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus, because he first loved me. And we had that picture in our mind. So when we looked at white people, we didn't feel right disliking him. Huh? Because that's my Jesus. Huh? So I'll suffer for my Jesus. Killed us outright. So, you know, psychology is something. The study of the mind and how it works. You know, if you really want to enslave a man, you do so through his mind. Physical chains, he can eventually break. Mental chains will stay on him until some greater knowledge come and break up. And it's hard to, once people unclamp their mind down on a way of thinking. They say, I was born this, I was lived this, and I'm going to die this. That's what they say. You know, it takes a mighty, mighty strong teacher to break the chains of darkness and ignorance that have been taught to us from generation to generation. That's why I reiterate to you that the only way you're going to have the power to resist all of the evil thoughts that have been planted in our minds, or that has been whether it was openly planted in the school system or subliminally planted in the society, just by the way we view ourselves and through television and radio and the entertainment industry and whatnot. All that had a role in afflicting our minds. It's no accident that you don't find all of the black movie stars, the black millionaire entertainers and sports figures, and even in the black whatever few we have in the business that are successful and have become millionaires or billionaires. It's no accident that none of them will get together and say, let's form a corporation and help our people. That's no accident that they don't do that. And then you blame it on them. then we compound the problem by hating them because they don't reach back and help us. We don't understand that they just as afflicted as we are. Nobody taught them to come back and help you and me. They taught them that if you go back there, they're going to just be begging. That's all they're going to do. That's all they just want. You worked hard for what you got. And then you go back there, you're going to wind up giving it all away to them. And they ain't going to do nothing with it but waste it. And that's the kind of talk that they hear from people that they trusted because those people made them rich. Do you understand? It's a mind game that they're running on us. You see? To keep you hating each other. Oh, it's a subtle hatred most of the time. We don't even realize that we hate one another. But if we loved one another, we'd be trying to get with each other. You don't know what a time I have trying to hold y'all together, to work together. You always find fault in each other. I don't care what it is. It's got to be something wrong. That was done to us. And until you wake up to the fact that you're sick, and these people have made us sick, and now they're saying to us, okay, you say you the people that God want to use to set the example for the world. Well, how you going to heal us? Physician, heal yourself. Instead of walking around always winning your jaws at each other, forgive one another. You saw what happened with the brother, and I warned him and told him, don't do that, man. And he didn't rest until I cast him into hell, huh? What did I do at the end of it? I forgave him, didn't I? And told him, I'm going to suspend that, I'm not interested in hurting nobody. But I'm a human being too. You know, when you say God is the supreme being, they purposely leave out human. When you say that the Lord is the most high, you're saying he is the most knowledgeable. It don't mean he's not human. So yeah, I have human feelings, and sometimes you can step on them, and it bothers me. But I'll get over it pretty quick. But, we all got afflictions in our mind. And the only way we're going to overcome it is to submit ourselves to truth, to God. What are you doing when you go to the doctor and you tell him what's wrong with you? And then he tell you, okay, this is I'm going to write you a prescription for this. And you make sure that you take this until it's gone. Don't stop taking it just because you feel better. Take it until it's gone. Dentists will tell you that all the time. Is that right? Okay. Now, if you submit and obey his instructions, you are submitting to the truth that he shared with you. You say, well, I'm submitting to it. I'm going to obey the dentist. Well, the dentist was trying to get you to obey the truth. Do you understand? Yeah. So, who is God? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with who? The Word was with God. But you know God ain't weak, is he? I didn't hear you. The flesh is weak. So is the flesh God? Well then, but God can be with the flesh. And so we had that sound. I mean, when you get so close to God, the messenger said, when a man or a person gets so close to God, God accepts him as his friend. Why? Because you are my friend if you do whatsoever I command you, right? So God accepts the man as his friend, and then the will of each is with the other. The will of Allah is the will of his messenger, and the will of the messenger is the will of Allah. And so we have notice the messenger said, when a person gets so close to God, then we got a song that says, just a closer walk with thee. Huh? Grant it, Jesus, if you please. Huh? I just said Jesus. I can say Moses, because all of them was God. Do you understand? Because the word was with them. Is that right? Okay, now what happened? It said the flesh is weak. I am weak, but thou art strong. Huh? In this earthen vessel here, it has appetites sometimes that if the mind submits to those appetites, both the mind and the flesh won't be here for long. Because actually the appetites of the flesh, where did it come from? Didn't flesh come from the earth? It's trying to get back there. It's drawn to the earth. What's holding you to the earth? Gravity. What's the root word of gravity? The grave. Huh? Okay. You have to have muscles and you have to have a mind to stay perpendicular to the plane of the earth. Huh? Yeah, you have to learn how to do that. Right? Okay. You notice, if you lay down too long, when you try to get up, it'd be hard getting up. No, hey, yeah, being drawn back to where you came from. But the earth is finite, but the universe is infinite. So the mind that's from above is greater than the mind that's from beneath your feet. Do you understand? Okay. So we let the greater rule over us, and the grave ain't got no more victory over us. Do you understand? So we are able to resist. That's what we were told. Submit yourselves, therefore, unto God. And the word was God. Is that what it said? Thy word is truth. That's what is written. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. Then the word was God. The truth is God. Submit yourselves, therefore, unto truth. And that will empower you to resist your devils. The devil couldn't gain the mastery over you except the devil took up residence in your brain. And the only way to run the devil out The only one that's powerful enough to run the devil out is God. The only way to get rid of a lie is the truth has to come. Huh? And once the truth comes, you have to lay hold to it. Hold on to it. That's what they do when they're in school. They taught us that in school. From the time we was in elementary school, they teach you and teach you and teach you. Say, okay, we're gonna have a test. What's the test for? To see if you was able to hold on to what we gave you. Huh? There you go. Yes, you got your phone unmuted for what? What's the number? 9207. What 9217. What you got your phone off mute for? I heard them kept hitting the key, so I know they know that they was taking it on and off of mute. So why you have it off of mute? If you didn't want to say nothing, why are you pushing buttons? So we are here to help you. Remember now, I'm striving with you. It's not like you afflicted and I ain't got no afflictions. The book told you in all their affliction, he was afflicted. Yes, I have to fight the evil thoughts too. And sometimes when you're fighting, boy, you get hit. Is that right? Hey, you can't quit just because you got hit. You got to get up. If you get knocked down, get back up. It's just like with I'm so thankful that Allah gave me children. Because raising children, many people say, well, you need to know how. People get scared if they have children. You don't have to be scared if you have children if you obey Allah. For Allah have already told us how to raise children. And then as you do it, he guides you like me. I'd see one of my, children running, they fall or something. And I've had people trying to come running and help them. I said, leave them alone. They start crying for a minute and look around. And when did nobody come, he shut up and got himself up and would start playing again. You see, children are just a what you call a trust. It's like a trust fund. And the one who is appointed to be over the trust knows that at a certain point, that trust fund gonna go to who it belonged to. The earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Well, you're supposed to be preparing your children to serve God, because he's going to require it of them if they intend to live on this planet with him. They're not yours. They belong to the Lord according to the scripture. And you have been entrusted with them until they reach the maturity. And then you're supposed to encourage them to submit to the same God that gave them to you. But y'all don't do that. That's why the world in the shape it's in. So, but anyway, now I'm telling you, we've been afflicted, and that's why we're so crazy. And all you have to do is just think about what we've been through over here in America. And if any people was justified to be crazy, it's the black man and woman of America. We have lived under the worst ruler that ever was. We have suffered things that no other human beings have ever suffered. And people have such low regard and respect for us that they will get in front of the whole world and mistreat us, knowing that the world knows they are mistreating us, and they do it without fear of reprisal. You see? It's just like you sitting up talking about you're gonna go to white people and tell them they mistreating you. White people know they're mistreating you. They know they're not treating us right. And I'm gonna tell you something else, white people. I know that if you didn't really approve of it, you'd put a stop to it. Now you can say all the excuses that you want, but I know that don't nothing happen in your country. If you don't like it, you could put a stop to it. Look what happened back in the 60s with all them civil rights marches and stuff. White people put a stop to it. The president ordered them to do certain things and stop mistreating these people and give these people this and give them that and give them this. He couldn't have done that if white people hadn't went along with it. All of this mistreating of us that's going on right now is because you letting it happen. Now, I don't want you to think because I'm standing up here offering you salvation that I don't see what's going on. I see what's going on. And I also told you that the judgment is not going to be done in stereotyping. Every individual is going to be judged by their own works. Yeah. So, don't make no difference how much you hate me. It ain't gonna change nothing. I'm your judge, and I'm gonna give you justice. Yep. I'm giving you justice now. See, so don't think I don't see. I see everything. And I hear everything. Yeah. Now I want my people. I'm sharing this knowledge with you, black brother and sister, so that you can take the truth in and submit to the truth. Submit yourself, therefore, to God and resist all them evil thoughts that's afflicting you. Stop purposely hurting one another. Stop always, every time you open your mouth, starting an argument with somebody. Think before you speak. ask yourself, do this really need to be said? Is this me talking, or is this the affliction in me talking? You used to sing, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. But if you be honest, you didn't know what you needed to overcome. Now I'm telling you what you need to overcome. You need to overcome all of them devils that's in your brain. And start treating each other truly as you would like to be treated. Then when you do it and someone else falls short, forgive them and pray for them. Especially when it's your fellow slave. And don't you try to worry about the one who did this to you. God took that off of you a long time ago. You ain't got to be trying to figure out how you're going to pay white people back. You can't pay white people back. That's why he said, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. So it ain't your place to try to judge white people. You just work on your afflictions. Watch how much better you feel when you stop worrying about what you gonna do about white folk. You ain't gonna do nothing about white people. As the messenger told you last night, I let you hear him. He said, God didn't drown Pharaoh. He made Moses to do the job. Huh? What did he say? I'm gonna raise up one like Moses. Is that what he said? You looking at the one like Moses. He made me to be the judge. All you got to be is an upright, righteous Muslim. One who submits to truth. And as you submit to truth, you will have the power to resist. What is power? Knowledge. You will have the knowledge to resist the devils that's been afflicting you up there in your brain. And when you have the wrong thought, you will know it's the wrong thought because the truth will remind you, no, you know better. Now don't do that. Don't say that. Then you bite your tongue and you will be pleased with yourself. That's right. The more you obey the word of God, the more pleased with yourself you will become. You mark my words. So, if anybody needed the teachings of Jesus in the gospel, it's certainly good news to us. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Question from Myron Logan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Logan.
He says, so we're just supposed to sit back and let them kill us until they kill us off?
Now, look, if you don't believe in me, then why you keep coming in here? Now, answer my question. Let me see if you've been paying any attention. What did I tell y'all to do if you tired of white people killing you? What did I tell you? I'm asking Mr. Logan. Because he just asked me a question that don't make sense to me. Answer my question, or I'm not going to answer no more of your questions. What did I tell you to do if you want white people to stop mistreating you? Okay, well, until you answer my question, don't ask me now another question. So now, you know, I'm not a person who stands up and just talk to hear myself talking. I know how many times I have taught on certain things, and for you to be asking me that, and as long as you've been listening to me, supposedly, you had no business even asking me that. I'm living in Mississippi, one of the state with the worst history of mistreatment of black people than any other state in the union. You don't see no white people coming here bothering me. You done heard that they came and killed the Son of Man. That man that say he the Son of Man. You heard that they came and surrounded my house and told me to come out here and so they could kill me. Have you heard anybody so much as threaten me? So I'm about sick of you sitting up trying to get people to go follow you. You ain't got nothing to lead nobody to. Yeah. I warned you, I'm not here to entertain you. Everything I do is to try to wake you up and help you to free yourself from a corrupt mind. Even when I be standing up here playing music or singing to you, it's all business. Trying to reach you. I'm about my Father's business. What that song that Teddy Pendergrass now sang? Wake up all the teachers. Time to do what? Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. You too busy shaking your behind. I was getting messages. You ain't saw no other Muslim teach like me, have you? Well, what am I doing? Teaching a new way, huh? And you notice more and more people are listening to what I have to say. I told you, as the messenger told you. He said, he still guides me. He still speaks to me. Not by word alone and not by seeing him in person, but just by hints. And I have learned those hints. You know how he taught me to hear Allah's words? He said, look, son of man, everything that attracts your attention is not for sport and play. It's for learning. So when something attracts my attention, I know Allah is finna teach me something. Do you understand? All praises due to Allah. So that's, they talk to me like fathers talk to their sons. And they knew that I would pay attention. You see? So it's a lot of things that they have told me that I don't even talk about. Not necessary. So A lot of things I want to do for you that I don't even talk about because it ain't necessary. So, you know, this is something I want y'all to do. When the things that I do for you, you know, I'd prefer you to just keep it between me and you. I don't want people following me because they think what I'm going to do for them. I want them to follow me because they believe in the teachings, that they believe in being upright. You know, you'd be surprised how many people was in the nation because they heard the term money, good homes, and friendship and all. They heard that part, money and good home. And they got money. When they joined the nation, you got money, and some of them bought big, beautiful homes and all that stuff. I didn't join the nation for no money and good home. I joined the nation because I believed in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I felt honored to be able to follow a true messenger of God. That's why I joined. You see, I wasn't after the money. I had already, you know, I already knew how to make money if I wanted money. That wasn't no thing to me. I just never did really want nothing. You know, had all the nice clothes that I ever wanted. I wasn't nothing for me to go see something in the window. Had some of the clothing stores, and I was working. Shoot, I take my whole check the next week, go buy it, then put it on and like it for a little while, and then after realize it really wasn't about nothing. You know, I like to be dressed. I always did like to keep myself looking as well groomed as I could. I got that from my brother, Sonny. Sonny was I mean, he knew how to dress, man. And he always was sharp. And I admired that. So I tried to be like my big brother. And it rubbed off on me to try to always look your best. Old people used to tell you, say, boy, why don't you make yourself look like something? Even if you ain't got nothing, if you look like you got something, maybe somebody will give you something. So that kind of stayed with me. You know, don't nobody, I tell you what, if a man pull up in a nice business van, a nice, with his uniform and everything on, and another man trying to apply for the same job to get you to hire him to do something, but he got a old rundown car and jeans and a sweatshirt. Which one of them going to impress you the most? The one that looks successful, huh? Yes. And I'll tell you something else. A man that thinks enough of himself and his business to make himself look like a businessman and to look successful, he cares about his reputation too. Which means that whenever he do a job, now I'm not saying you got con men out there that do it, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, that man know his reputation gonna follow him, and he gonna try to do the best job he can because he knows that in order to stay in business, you got to have repeat customers. You see? Now you might mess over somebody once, but they ain't gonna never call you no more. And you soon won't be in business. So I told you I know a lot of things that, it's not like, what do you think? How in the world I'm going to be a savior for everybody if I can't relate to everybody? That's why it kind of gets on my nerves, brother, trying to tell me, want to come, ain't got nothing going himself, want to come try to tell me how to go in business. But look, man, I don't need you to tell me how to go in business. But anyway.
Myron Logan is asking more questions.
No, I already told him. You ignoring me, I'm going to ignore you. Erase his question. I don't, you know. Look, what you think I am? You think I'm just talking? Did you type my question to him? Well, he listening. Well, okay. Well, he heard the question I asked him. If he don't remember what I asked, he better go back and rewind it or something. Because I'm not going to, you know, I ain't got nothing to say to people that ignore me. And you on some thin ice there, boy. You know, anyway. Let's get back over here and see where this lie came from. In the 11th chapter of John, we left off at the 48th verse. They said, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and the nation. Their place is their position, and their nation, he said. You notice there wouldn't even be no state of Israel if it hadn't been for America, the Christians here. They established the state of Israel over there in the Middle East. Is that the truth? Okay. So now, it says in one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same year said unto them, you know nothing at all. You don't understand. Huh? Now, this a wise crook here. He says, nor have you considered that it is expedient for us. What does expedient for us mean? It means it's better. It's more important for us that one man should die for the people. You know, these are, now this is how they was really talking. You know, these fools believe in sacrificing animals and stuff and think that's going to save them. Well, let's let them sacrifice Jesus. Huh? Yeah. So he said, have you considered that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people and that the whole nation perish not? Well, didn't they just say the nation was going to be taken from them if they let Jesus keep on? Well, it's better that that man die than that the whole nation be taken from us. Is that right? Then he says, how many of y'all think I'm misrepresenting this? Yeah, I don't like people to be talking about lying on me. Come in here. If I'm misrepresenting it, you come tell me how I'm misrepresenting it. It's just like I was looking at, and I'm going to show you that too. I think we got time for that. Where an admiral was speaking about, and he's a Navy SEAL also. You know, the Navy SEALs they are a patriotic. They are patriots, patriotic. They are patriotic people's patriot. Do you understand? I mean, them fellas, look, man, anytime you will go any place that you are ordered and put your life on the line for on the orders of your commander-in-chief. That is the epitome of respect, that you will go and die if necessary, if ordered to do so by the commander-in-chief of the military, which is the President of the United States. And anyone that's that loyal got a right to expect loyalty on the other end too. You know, anytime one of my followers got a question for me on any particular matter, they may say, son of man, I don't think that it's just like when one of my followers told me that he didn't trust the electrical hookups that was temporary power on a building. And I told him, well, it ain't gonna be that long and whatnot. When the building burnt down, you know, I took the blame. I knew it was my fault. Because when someone who is knowledgeable, you know, just like, you know, you even if he didn't wire it, he sent someone there to wire it, and then he come back and tell me, look, that don't look like that's gonna hold up for this application that you got here. We need to do this, or I think you need to do that. And not so much as I think. You know, when people who are knowledgeable speak, they don't speak in terms of I think this and I think that. They just start telling you what needs to be done. And you should listen to them. Here, a patriotic man, there's no question about the admiral's patriotism. And if he tells you that what you are doing and your administrative technique is a threat to the democratic principles that America is founded on, you don't insult him. You accept his constructive criticism and start correcting yourself. You know, it's just like when you are the leader of any nation of what they call the free world. If you get criticism from from your allies, you don't spit in their face, because they are not criticizing you to condemn you. They are criticizing you to help correct yourself. But you know, when people don't have, you can tell when someone does not respect you. They don't care to hear you. They don't care to listen to you. I didn't ignore the brother when he told me about that. I told him go on and order it, didn't I? But what I should have done, even when I told him to order it, I shouldn't have added no more to it on that circuit. And when I added some more to it, that overloaded it, set the thing on fire, and all I could do was later on just shake my head and say, well, I should have waited until the main power was hooked up. So I didn't wait, and now we lost all that labor and all that material simply because I was in a hurry when I should have been patient. So I learned my lesson on that. And but anyway, we have you know, when you start, I remember before they was crying wolf. Talking about Obama wants to be a dictator. Obama wants to be a king. Obama wants to do, and they call themselves putting checks on him, right? And now they got a man in there that really trying to be a dictator, and they ain't checking him at all. Why? And ain't but one obvious reason. Because he's white. Yeah. And because he's just a symptom of a much greater problem, you have snakes in the garden. And they trying to tear your country up from the inside. You got a whole lot of sellouts. And I tell you what, check all of them's bank account that's in Congress. And if they didn't go in there millionaires, they ain't got no business being millionaires now. Unless they got some money coming from somewhere you didn't know nothing about. Follow the money. That'll tell you all you need to know about all these. That's all of a sudden they ain't running no more. They retiring and that kind of thing. Check their bank accounts inside the country and outside the country. And then ask them, how did you come up with all this money? Ask them. What did you do to earn this money? These millions of dollars you got here. I mean, look, they just gave away billions of dollars in tax cuts to wealthy people. Why? If those billion-dollar corporate entities was already paying billions of dollars in taxes, what is $50 million in a bank account or $10 million in a bank account for the ones who gave them tax breaks? I mean, it ain't coming out of them. It's just coming out the pockets of the government that they were supposed to be a part of. But, you know, they was able to keep some of the tax cut money that they gave back. I hope Mr. Mueller, I hope the FBI, not just Mr. Mueller, I hope the FBI and the CIA, the patriots in them two organizations, I hope they catch every one of you. And I hope they make an example out of you for selling out your country and for selling out your people, for selling out the ideals that had brought America to greatness and made America the envy of the world. And you sold all that out for a few pennies. You know, they make what Judas did look like nothing. What they standing up doing with the American people? They did the American people like Judas did Jesus, betrayed him while pretending to kiss him. Huh? We represent the American people. And every time the American people, by overwhelming majority, told them, don't do this, don't do that. We want you to do this. Or they ignored the American people. Huh? Well, if they wasn't listening to the American people, who was they listening to? The one who put that money in their bank account. So you know, Prophet Muhammad, he said this about injustices. He said, if a Muslim sees an injustice, he should do one of three things, or better yet, all three. He should hate it in his heart. He should speak out against it. And he should work to change it with his hands. I have no stomach for a person pretending to care about you while getting your trust and betraying that trust. I don't have no stomach for people like that. No patriotic person, I don't care what nation they are part of. No nation, no patriot respects a traitor. None. Because he knows that if you do it to him, if I trusted you, you'd do it to me. Because there are certain things that you ain't supposed to be able to put a price tag on. Honor is one of them. If your word ain't nothing, you ain't nothing. And that's what you got up there in the White House and in the Congress right now. You got a bunch of nothings up there. So anyway, so look what they said. Now, after let's read that 50th verse again. He said, "No, have you considered that it is expedient for us that Jesus should die for the people?" That's the one man he's talking about, right? "And that the whole nation don't be taken away from us?" Huh? And this, he was speaking not about himself. He wasn't going to die for the nation. He said, but being the high priest that year, they call them popes now, don't they? Being the high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. And then he added more to it. He said, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Now they done fixed up a big lie to tell, right? Now look what it says after that. Jesus found out about it, you know. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together for to murder Jesus. They say put him to death. What does that mean? They took counsel, they schemed and plotted to murder Jesus. Jesus, therefore, walked no more openly among the Jews, but he went out of that country, went out of that place unto a country near the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there he continued with his disciples. He didn't walk no more openly. Jesus had to hide from them after he found out they were trying to kill him. Remember? Okay. Now, let's prove a point here. Now, Jesus, he never was widely known. Like the only Jesus that was widely known was the prophetic Jesus, which was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, he was widely known, but the Jesus that brought the gospel, no, he wasn't widely known. Just a moment. Let's see here. This is the 18th chapter of the book of John. All right, let's see here. It says, when Jesus, I'm starting at the first verse. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered, and his disciples. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place. For Jesus oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples. Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, he cometh there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Jesus, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, Whom seek ye? They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus saith unto them, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with him. And as soon then as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. Then asked he them again, Whom seek ye, man? And they said, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus answered, he said, I have told you that I am he. If therefore you seek me, let these go on about their business. Huh? He said, let my disciples go on, right? Now, here they was out there claiming to be seeking Jesus. It was talking to Jesus and didn't know it. Huh? Do that sound like he was well known? Huh? All right then. So this is, the people been lying to you, standing up talking about they preaching and teaching you the word of God. And people ain't been teaching you the word of God. I'm teaching you the word of God. And I'm the only one that could teach it to you. Even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was here, he didn't take that upon himself. He said, when he was teaching on God, God came from Teman and the Holy One from Mount Paran. And he said, and the burning coals went forth at his feet. He said, now this could have meant. Why did he say this could have meant? That was his way of saying, I don't know, but it might have meant this. Do you understand? And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he knew that I would come and introduce myself to you. He said, it is good that Allah is here to make himself known in the West. So you notice I'm making the truth known to you. I'm making the truth understandable to you. And I'm removing all doubt. And the only way that the truth could make itself known is it had to become a he. That is because Allah, he is the truth. So all praise is due to Allah. So the word was made flesh. Huh? Yeah. Them bones is inside of flesh now. So it's much to share with you. Now, I want to share something else with you. You got this. I noticed that arrogant brother ain't answered my question yet, have he? Well, tell him what the question was. Been up there lying.
Rear Admiral, Navy SEAL, 37 years, former head of U.S. Special Operations.
Hillary Clinton fan.
Commanded the operation that took down Saddam Hussein and that killed Osama bin Laden, says that your sentiment is the greatest threat to democracy in his lifetime.
He's a Hillary Clinton.
Every time someone criticizes him, he interjects that person is a Hillary Clinton supporter. Here, this man, let me tell you something. If that man is an admiral, was an admiral, admiral in the Navy. That man had been in the Navy long time before Hillary Clinton ran for president or anything else. And he had been in the Navy under many presidents and had already proven his patriotism to this country. While Mr. Bone Spurs there, when he had his chance to prove his patriotism, he got a doctor's excuse, had the doctor write him out an excuse. Like that doctor he had to write that Donald Trump is the most healthy man that ever occupied the White House. Remember that? So now watch what he has to say when a retired admiral gives him some criticism that he should take to heart. Now just watch this.
Retired Admiral, Navy SEAL, 37 years, former head of U.S. Special Operations.
Hillary Clinton fan.
Commanded the operations that took down Saddam Hussein and that killed Osama bin Laden. It says that your sentiment is the greatest threat to democracy in his lifetime.
He's a Hillary Clinton backer and an Obama backer. And frankly,
He's a Navy SEAL.
Wouldn't it have been nice if we got Osama bin Laden a lot sooner than that?
Facebook is on the defensive once again. It's criticism of
$1 billion to help students live their best futures. Next, President Trump just slammed the former Navy SEAL who oversaw the...
Why do they use these terms as though it was something great that was done? He slammed so-and-so. Why don't you say what it really was? Why don't you say he insulted Navy SEAL, retired admiral? Why don't you say what it really was? You're going to tell me a man that go and lay down his life, put his life on the line for this country, doesn't have the right to let the president know that his attitude and everything is a threat to the democratic way of life or the democratic process of America? He don't have the right to say that without getting insulted? Y'all some crazy folks.
captures of Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. We're going to tell you about that $1.8 billion to help students live their best futures. Next, President Trump just slammed the former Navy SEAL who oversaw the captures of Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. We're going to tell you all about the extraordinary, the honorable, retired Admiral William McRaven, and why the president has it out for him. Makes no sense. You're watching.
He's a Hillary Clinton backer and an Obama backer. And frankly,
He's a Navy SEAL.
wouldn't it have been nice if we got Osama bin Laden a lot sooner than that?
That was the president of the United States, not talking about a political foe, but a retired admiral and a Navy SEAL. So let's look closer at the man the commander-in-chief has such an issue with. In 1977, William McRaven was graduating from the University of Texas in Austin with a journalism degree and a commission in the U.S. Navy after going through the school's ROTC program. The young officer trained as a SEAL, working his way up from platoon commander in SEAL Team 4 to command his own SEAL team. By 2001, he was in charge of Naval Special Warfare Group 1, overseeing 4 SEAL teams. On a training jump that summer, an accident broke his back and his pelvis just weeks before the September 11th devastating attacks. But he wasn't out of commission for long. He joined the fight in Iraq, heading the operation that captured Saddam Hussein in 2003, and rising to lead the Joint Special Operations Command, which put him in charge of another one of the country's most important operations. That would be the 2011 raid, in which McCraven called the shots as SEALs stormed Osama bin Laden's compound, killing him a decade after the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. After the raid, McCraven was elevated to command of all U.S. Special Operations Forces, a role held by only 8 other officers before him, capping off nearly 4 decades of service to the United States. Joining me now, Paul Rykoff. He is the founder and CEO of IA.
Now, just in case you don't know what 4 decades is, that's 40 years. And Donald Trump wants to reduce him to a Hillary Clinton supporter because he criticized his way of conducting himself in the office of president. Instead of looking at itself, that's the, what is the sign of a bloodsucker? Work you and don't pay you? Huh? They call them vampires in the movie, right? But in business, in dealings, in business, they're called bloodsuckers because, they'll work you and then you have to chase them down and get your money. And, and then they won't half pay you what they told you they was going to pay you. Huh? Who got a history of that that's now sitting up in the White House? How many times they done said Donald Trump don't like to pay his bills? That's one of the reasons why he can't hire no good lawyers. Huh? All right. Now, what's another thing that happens when you get into a vampire movie? You notice, how many of y'all saw Van Helsing? Okay, you remember when they was at the ball and the girl was dancing with Dracula? Remember that? And they got in front of a mirror, and the only one you could see in the mirror was her. Okay, whenever you get in front of, it's just like a man who is over other men. He understands the authority, at least he's supposed to understand the authority that and the responsibility that goes with the position of being over other human beings. You understand? Okay. So when it's just like a doctor. When a doctor is dealing with lay people, then he cannot expect, he don't have to really take a whole lot of criticism about his practicing from lay people. But when other doctors start telling him, hey, you need to check this and you need to check that. If he's really up to that office, then once he get in front of another doctor, it's like getting in front of a mirror. And then he should be able to see himself, take a look at himself through the eyes of that mirror that you remember in A Few Good Men. You saw A Few Good Men, right? You remember at the beginning of it, they say that the lance corporal had fired over the fence line, and he said because his mirror had engaged him, huh? And his mirror was the other one from the opposite army or military had fired at him first, huh? Okay, that was his mirror. Is that right? Okay, so when you are face to face, like the admiral, I mean that man is over a lot of people. He's actually over more people on a daily basis than the president. So when a man like that criticizes you, it's not something that you just brush off, because he's among your peers. And if he tells you that, hey, you need to straighten this up, man. If you was any kind of man, you would remember what Solomon said. As iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his brother. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it like this: as steel sharpens steel, man sharpens man. You get a chef that really knows what he's doing and know his way around the kitchen, you'll see him rub some knives together, and he actually is sharpening them by rubbing them against each other, because he knows how to do it. Knocking off the dull edges off of both knives by rubbing them together. And when two wise men argue with one another, criticize one another, both come away sharper, better men. But you have a man that have taken an office that he has no respect for. How do you know he has no respect for that office? Because he went around the world, went around the nation for 8 years, at least 7 years, disrespecting the office of president simply because there was a black man in it. And the one thing you learn, like he said, I mean, wasn't he supposedly went to military school? Well, the first thing you learn in the military is that you don't have to respect or like the person that's a captain or a lieutenant, a captain, a major, or any of those, a colonel or a general. You don't have to like them, but you respect them bars. You respect that insignia. You respect the rank. And when you see you walk past an officer or whatnot in the parade ground or out there in the on base, you snap a salute, man. Why? You don't have to like him, but you respect that office. You respect that rank. You have elected a man that don't have sense enough to respect the highest office in the land. That's why he's busy dragging it through the mud every chance he gets. You think I don't know how to cuss and swear? But I took that stuff out of my vocabulary when I decided I was going to be a Muslim. Because it's disrespectful to what the term Muslim means. You don't hear no Muslim letting filth fly out his mouth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad boasted on his followers. He said, you can go around my followers all day, anytime, all day. You'll never hear them cursing at each other or using filthy language, talking to one another. When they see each other, they run, hug one another like they was raised by the same parents. He said, this is the work of Elijah. So what I look like letting that kind of filth fly out my mouth. Somebody may have been listening to the messenger and say, hey, man, you ain't following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said his followers don't do that. The messenger said some of his last words to us was, he said, these men are not here just to see you trying to be a Muslim. They are here wanting to know whether or not you are a Muslim at heart. He says, so I'm going to discontinue this moral teaching that we have been doing with you for the past 2-3 hours. And we're going home. And the laborers will do what they know to do. He said, but I say to you that I'm greatly happy over you. I'm going to tell you something. He even told him, he said, from the looks of your numbers here today, he said, for 43 years, I have been teaching that God is man. For 43 years, I have been preaching that one day you will wake up to know. You will wake up and agree with me. He said, from the looks of your numbers here today, it seems that you're waking up. Sure did seem that way, didn't it? But things are not always as they seem, huh? Yeah. So, oh, don't worry. I don't hold it against none of you because I understand what really was going on now. You know, when you, after the firstborn, the first thing you got to do is conceive him. Then after he's conceived, during the conception, there's many little life germs running, going. Most of them going to go in the wrong direction, but they going. But only one get the prize. And the rest, they die out. But fear not, for I am the resurrection and the life. That's why people, brother asked me, well, what you think about Minister Farrakhan? I say he needs a savior just like you. I mean, I will always love. I have more love for Minister Farrakhan than any of y'all. You don't know nothing about Minister Farrakhan. You think you do. You should have been there when I was there in the class and him and Minister Abdul Kareem and all of them was teaching. Man, you ain't heard nothing. So, all of them, they know that they safe with me. Because as long as, like the brother said, long live Minister Farrakhan. I say the same thing. I want him to live long too. I want all of them that helped hold the door open for me. I wish I could take all of them and just hug them and give them everything. They just wouldn't let me do it. The messenger even told them that. He said, I want to keep my promise, Israel, but you won't let me keep it. And he told me, he said, now this same thing have come to us. He said, I want to show you, oh, my lost and found, that he who found you and me is God. And he wants to do for you that which will stand forever. Look how I've did what none of y'all could do. I shut the whole world's mouth, not by denying the teachings. You ain't never heard me say, the white man ain't the devil. I came out and told you he the devil, told him he the devil, and told him why. And told him if he come in here, if I can't prove he the devil, I'll give him $20,000. I'll even give that to you. I don't say things that I can't prove. And I shut everybody's mouth. And now who did that before me? So no, you're not going to come in here disrespecting me. I done took all the disrespect off of you that I need to take. Anytime a man offer you $20,000 and his life, if you can show that he's teaching wrong, and you say nothing, then your saying nothing is a way of bearing witness that you can't find nothing wrong with the man. Then why would you come in here and insult me? And for that, you deserve hell. And I will throw you in there. Now, but I ain't hard to get along with now. Now, I don't mind you trying to argue with me. I like to argue. I like people to present. That's how you get smarter. You listen to people's questions. You know, that's what you think that an attorney is doing when he's asking questions. When you go into court and attorneys ask you questions, most of the questions they are asking you, if he's any kind of attorney, he's asking you questions that he thinks he already knows the answer to. Because he's trying to build his case. And as he keeps asking questions, it's supposed to build a frame of thought about your innocence or your guilt. The prosecution is trying to build a case that encases and manifests your guilt. The defense asks questions to manifest your innocence. But all of them is building, and they don't ask questions that they don't know the answer to. He ain't too bright if he do that. But anyway, like if you want to go fishing, you go get you a boat and go fishing, but don't go fishing in court. So anyway, I learned that from talking to some attorneys. And, I listen when people talk to me. I'm not the kind of person that get in a conversation with you or get in front of a mirror and then leave and forget what I look like. No. When me and you get through talking, I'm still thinking over what you told me. Yeah. You see, if you lied to me, if I think over it and analyze all that you said, I'll know what you know that you wasn't being truthful with me. You see? Let me tell you something else. Many of you have offspring. You have offspring that that may not agree with you. I'm going to tell you something. Running after offspring that don't agree with you is not a help to them if you are a Muslim. You have to let, I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when his son Akbar went over there and in the East, the messenger had sent him to school over there. And he came back and told his father, he said, Daddy, he said, when you go over there, they make you a disbeliever. And in other words, he was saying that when he went over there with what the messenger taught him, they accused him of being a disbeliever. And the messenger said, he told him, he said, well, son, you know the truth. He said, oh, I know, Dad. He said, but he said, yes, son, and that's on you. In so many words, he told him. He said, so he down there in let me see, what was that? I think it was Kentucky. What that other? Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee. He said he down there teaching at one of the devil's universities in Tennessee, either New York or one of the places. And he said, so when a man make up his mind to do something, you just well as go and let him do it, because all you will have is a hypocrite if you don't. Do you understand? So, I don't want nobody. So I learned that lesson. You don't. In order for me to help you, even the prodigal son, the prodigal son had to make up in his mind that he wanted to come back home to his daddy. And when famine arose, and it helped him come to himself. And he said, well, in my father's house, he said, they got bread to spare. Now I'm out here eating what the hogs eat, corn. I'd rather eat the corn. I can't get a job doing nothing but feeding swine. He said, I know I'm going to go to my daddy's house, and I'm going to go back and tell him that I ain't worthy to be called your son. I don't even deserve to be called your son. And he said, but make me as one of the servants. Don't let nobody know that I'm your son. And his father said, come on in here, boy. So, daddies don't stop loving their children just because they mess up. No parent does. I don't care what they tell you. Don't pay that stuff no attention. They just be angry with you because they can't tell you what to do no more. You understand? And but now you as Muslims, stop trying to tell or make somebody believe. You can't make nobody believe. You had the chance to teach them the right way, to teach them what to believe in and what you are about. If they go away from that, leave them alone. That's all. Just leave them alone. They want to come back and act like we still good. No, we ain't still good. You ain't going the way I'm going. I don't come around here with that. Now you go on. Oh, you don't love me no more? It ain't got nothing to do with love you some more. It has to do with I'm not going to have you around me while you done told me you don't want to serve Allah like I'm doing. Well, then you go on and serve what you want to serve until you get tired. And when you ready to submit to Allah, I'll be ready to, if Allah please, then you. But it ain't up to me to let you come back. I warned you not to go. So don't look like you left. You did that. So let grown people ask for help so that they can't tell you butting in their business. You understand? Now you go out there and bump your head all you want. I'm not finna come out there butting in your business so that you can disrespect me. I'm grown. I do what I want. You don't have to keep on telling me. I ain't gonna keep on telling you. I'm gonna stay out your business, Miss Know-It-All. Now, maybe when you suffer enough, you call me and ask me what to do. The first thing I'm gonna tell you, you need to call the Son of Man. that's what I'm gonna tell you. Do you understand? What you calling me for? I ain't your savior. I told you that when you was a baby. So, and if they decide they want to keep going into the fire, I'm not coming out there in the fire with you. And don't look for me to send nobody out there in the fire to get you. And we used to have a saying, I hear you humming, but I ain't coming. Now, you've seen, anytime, it's just like my brothers and sisters. I have a younger brother right now that have had, I don't know how many strokes. I love that little big head brother, even though he was he ain't love me. I mean, he used to love to see me get a whipping. but I never stopped loving my little brother. And he's had some strokes and whatnot. But I remember the only thing that makes me not feel so much grief, even though it bothers me, it can't help but bother you when you see people that you care about suffering. But I remember when I used to visit my brother when he was in good health, and I'm his older brother, and I tell him, hey, brother, won't you come on listening to me? He said, Marvin, look, now I done told you. I don't want to hear that. I said, okay, James. And I used to try my best to talk with him. And every time he would tell me, look, you chose your way and I chose mine. All right. We ain't got to go through that every time I see you. So and the older I got, the older we got, the more I understood that he was right. I can't, no matter how much I love you, I can't be your keeper. You got a keeper already. The mind that's in you is what keeps you. The only one I can keep is me. I can guide whoever will let me guide them. But I can't be your keeper. So, but know this. The reason that I'm not full of grief and all of that when I see my loved ones suffer things is because I know I did all that I could to invite them to a better way. I know that my way of life is better than the rest of y'all's way of life. I know it is. I know how to eat to live. And I was inviting you to eat like me so you could live longer, so that you could be healthy. But I realized that I can't, it don't make no difference how much I love you. I can't guide you just because I love you. Allah only guides those whom he pleases. If you're not pleased with the truth when you hear it, then all the love for you in the world from me ain't gonna help you. You have to accept the truth. If you don't accept the truth, I can't help you. And don't make no difference how long we've been knowing each other. That ain't gonna help you either. Submission to the will of God is the only thing that's gonna save you. And it's the only thing that's gonna save me. If I'm to be saved, I have to do God's will. And that don't just go for me, that go for everybody. So I want you to remember that. So you saw they made up a lie, and you've been pushing that same lie that the chief priests and them made up over 2,000 years ago to justify murdering Jesus. And even though he didn't die on the cross, that's why the soldier was pointing out that after he pierced his side and either urine or tears or something came out. I think his bladder, he emptied his bladder and blood came out. The soldier knew he wasn't dead, because when something is dead and you pierce it, blood don't just come out immediately. It may be a second or two, a few seconds before you see blood ooze out, because it's not under pressure, because the heart has stopped. But when he saw that blood and water come out of Jesus, he made a big deal out of it. He said, he that saw it said he know that he said the truth, and he made a big deal out of it. So the Holy Quran says that they said in boast, we killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. But they killed him not, nor did they cause his death on the cross, but he was made to appear to them as such. So now, once he appeared as dead, that's what the soldiers came. They looked at him and saw that he was dead already, so they didn't break his legs. They just took him down because he appeared to be dead to them. All right. Now, what happened to Jesus? Well, what happened was they found out, when Pilate and all of them found out that Jesus hadn't died, he gave them orders to find him and put him to death. And so Jesus was a fugitive from that point on. And when they did find him, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me that the captain, the sheriff that found him, told him that, they're going to kill you anyway and torture you. He said, but if you let me kill you, he said, I will do it so quick you'll never even feel it. And so Jesus made a cross out of himself. And the sheriff or the captain stabbed him straight through his heart. And that's how he died. And so he didn't see no reason why Jesus should have to suffer such a humiliating death. So he did that, and Jesus died like that. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. I just put it together. That's all. Many of you didn't pay attention. That's why I know it and you don't. Because he knew I would pay attention. And so he gave me everything I needed in order to be able to prove that everything that he was teaching and everything that all of the rest of them was teaching was the truth. So all praise is due to Allah. So, anybody got something they want to ask me?
Myron Logan said that he doesn't remember, or he said that he didn't hear that part when you answered that question previously.
Well, you better pay attention. Don't tell me you didn't hear it, because you what is the point of me standing up teaching y'all for hours and hours and hours and you don't remember what I say? I told you, if you want to be safe, then get behind me and stay there. And I'm talking about what we supposed to do, as though I'm teaching something that don't make sense. If you want to be safe, you get behind me and be a righteous Muslim. Because if you ain't no righteous Muslim, you ain't behind me. That means one who submits to obey me. And you ain't got to worry about no white folks doing nothing to you or nobody else. Allah is in control of everything now. It's my fault because you don't believe what I say. You should have believed. I told you the very air that you breathing is a creature. And Allah can order his creatures to wreak havoc inside of your brain for just thinking about wanting to do something to somebody that belonged to him. Whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it'd have been better for him that a millstone was hanged about his neck and he cast into the ocean. I understand them kind of threats. I remember when some of my older brothers, boy, we used to go, we had some sayings, boy. One of my brothers, Sonny, used to say, "Look, boy, you'd rather shoot marbles on the freeway than to come over here messing with me." So I understood what that meant. You know how long you last on the freeway talking about shooting some marbles. Huh? All right then. Well, how long would you last in the ocean with a millstone hanging around you? Huh? A second? So if Allah tell you something like that, you better take it to heart. I'm not worried about, you better quit worrying about what white people gonna do, and you better start worrying about what the God of white people gonna do. Well, we're sitting up here, coming in here trying to give me no fear for white people. I ain't thinking about what no white people gonna do. That's what's wrong with you now. That's why you can't do nothing for yourself. Yeah, if we get together, they'll come kill us all. That show you don't believe that there is a God. What you think, the white man can just do what he please on this planet? Tell him, why don't he go in there in Mississippi and kill the Son of Man? Since he can do what he please, why don't he kill me? He know what's good for him. He'd stop his old wicked work. This is the day you better stop working. One of my favorite Temptations told you what time it is. Eddie Kendricks. That brother sung that song. Skipping work today. Huh? Yeah. This ain't no day to be doing evil. You better cut it out. I'm warning you. Do you not see these people? This man supposed to be president of the United States, and he ain't no kind of way even trying to live up to the standard for that office because it just ain't in him. And he read the snake to you more than once. As good as saying to you, you knew I wasn't no presidential material when you put me in here. So shut up. Huh? You notice, you can't even get none of them to come in here and defend him when I'm talking. And he better not come in here throwing no insults at me. I'll throw your behind in hell so fast that it'll have to become news to God. So, you say, "Why how he get away with that? I'm the Son of Man." You ain't my judge. I'm your judge. Yeah. So, so all of you that want to be safe, get behind me. And you won't have to be wondering what to do. All you have to do is follow me. And when you, now remember this, you're going to have brothers and sisters that insult you. They're going to offend you. But that way you get a chance to practice the teachings. For it's written. I'm going to let you turn to it with me. This is in Matthew, the 18th chapter. So turn to it with me. Because you know, brother and sister, it's just like the people in Fayette. If I live around, black people here in Jefferson County. It's pretty much a black county. There's some white people live here. And it's, but it's mostly black. But sometimes people offend you. But you have to remember that we all been afflicted. So naturally we offend each other. So with that, remember, Allah told Abram, he said, now they're going to be strangers in a land that's not theirs, and they're going to serve them, and they're going to afflict them 400 years. Let me read to you a little bit of the William Lynch letters. It says, now this speech was delivered by a white slave owner, William Lynch, on the bank of the James River in 1712. Remember, the book says there is nothing hidden that shall not be made manifest. That's why this letter found its way to us. Then some Negro tried to get out there and tell me he want to put it out there. Then when I asked him about a certain page of it, he said, I didn't write that part. Remember that? Liar. Anyway, it says by William Lynch. It says, gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. How come he didn't say ancient Egypt? Good question, huh? Is that ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human beings along its old highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and rope on occasion. In other words, why they hang the man out there and leave him out there and let people that's passing by see that? Terrorism. You understand? Okay. Then it says, I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. So you are not only losing valuable stock by hangings. Now he done reduced human beings to stock. Huh? You're not only losing valuable stock by hangings. You are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the fields for too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I'm here to introduce to you a method of solving them. See, these people are scientists at enslaving human beings. Now, that's the devil. Do you understand? As we made him that. We made him the devil. Now listen. He said, in my bag here. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method of control for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them more than what they really are. I make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Now, he's talking about doing something to our minds. Do you understand? Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of the list is age. But it is only there because it starts with an A. The second is color. or shade. There is next is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, the status on the plantation. Now you see about the house nigger and the field nigger and the you know, you remember in Django when Stephen came outside. He said, "What is this nigga doing on this horse here?" Remember that? I mean, what did Stephen think he was? I mean, he's rich. But anyway, that's how they messed us up. Give them different statuses so that they'll think it's a difference in them. Do you understand? Okay, then he says, well, it's funny to me because the reason it's funny is because it's so small to me now. I'm here to undo that. The first step to undoing it is like what the man told Paul in Dune. The first step to avoiding a trap is to be aware of its existence. Okay. So he said the status on the plantation, the attitude of the owners, as in we got a good master over here, right? Our master, he don't do us like yours do you, huh? Right? Yeah. Give them something to talk about other than what's really being done to them. But anyway, it says, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, or in the east, or west, north or south, have fine hair, or coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust. And envy is stronger than adjuration or adulation. You know, as admiring people and giving them what you call their props and all that. Envy is stronger than adulation. Respect or admiration. Envy is stronger than all of them. Why? Because the ignorant mind, you already done made him ignorant. You ain't taught him nothing. So he still has those base instincts. He's actually just still a baby. And babies are governed not by the higher attributes of humanity, but they are governed by their lower instincts. And so it's more easy to instill in them envy and jealousy, because there's nothing to tell them to be happy for their brother, but they resent him for having something they don't have. Do you understand? Okay. Then he says, the black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling. You won't even have to keep teaching it to them, because they will just keep doing it to themselves. Shall become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. And they perfected that on us. Now they're doing it to their own country. They're doing it to their own people. Look what they've done. They put the Democrats against the Republicans, and then now they are not Americans. They are Democrats and Republicans. They are They are liberals and and conservatives. They are red states and blue states. So I guess they're going to take that part out of the Pledge of Allegiance that says indivisible. Indivisible means incapable of dividing. Well, it's being divided. And we already know that with liberty and justice for all, they was on their way to trying to do that. Now they done backed off of that. You just saw that in Georgia and Florida and places where they told you had the right to vote, but when you tried to exercise that right, they wouldn't let you do it. Huh? Yeah. Which brings me to another point. On the 27th, they having the election?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to go out and vote. And I'm going to vote for Mr. Espy, because that silly woman that you got putting up there, that woman ain't part of the solution to the world problems and to America's problems. She part of the problem. These people have actually gotten emboldened to come out and openly declare their wicked heart, because they think it's safe to do so now. They was faking all that time. Now Donald Trump done made them come out and confess it. So we can thank him for that. That's one thing. One good thing came out of him being president. All them snakes that was hiding is coming out now. Now you can see what's in everybody's heart. And it's going to get even clearer. But, so you, do they still say the Pledge of Allegiance in school? I don't think so. I know when I was in elementary school, before we had class every day, we'd stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I understand the value of that now. Look how when I was a child, they had me stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag. And now that I'm a man and understand things better now, I understand that it's not so much as that flag, but what that flag represents, at least on paper. Even the pledge itself. There's of the United States of America, not to the red and blue states of America. I told you, if this was my country, I'd appreciate a white man standing up. He wouldn't care who it was, but if he is white and he's standing up telling me something that would help my country, what, I'm supposed to ignore it because he's white? So I'll do to him what I would hope that he would do to me if our roles were reversed. That's why I'm standing up saying what I'm saying. Because like I told you, I don't need America to be destroyed in order for me to live. You'll say, well, you're going against the teaching. No, I'm not going against the teaching. You're the one going against nature. You ask any physician, ask them, how does the body develop an immunity to a disease? Well, it kills the disease. It don't kill it. It converts it to a harmless state. There's a lot of things that the American people have right. The freedom of speech is one of them. Why would you want to do away with that? Why would you want to do away with people's rights to defend themselves? But when you tell people that the right to bear arms mean against your own government, to bear arms against your own government is treason. Especially when you have an army, a navy, an air force, a Marine Corps, and it is their job to be on the watch and on the guard for the safety of the United States and the United States government. You have a police force, and they are armed, and they patrol the cities and towns so that you wouldn't have to have a gun on your hip. So whose idea was it to put guns in the hands of all of the citizens? I'll tell you whose idea it was. It was the idea of whatever persons it was wanted to see you destroy yourselves. And then they commenced to sow in discord and hatred, so that one part of the country would hate the other part, and one member of the society would hate the other member of the society. And then hopefully they will all be armed, and hopefully they will kill each other. And that's what they laid hold to. And you're so foolish that you've fallen right into it. Sitting up talking about you need a gun to protect yourself. And if somebody asks you, protect yourself from who? Your next door neighbor. So you don't see that as him as your neighbor, you see him as your enemy. You don't see him as, I remember people used to stand up and talk and they say, my fellow Americans. When the last time you heard somebody say my fellow Americans? You're so wicked that I told you that when you have hatred in your heart for any human being, it is impossible for you to have love for any human being. Because the law of physics will not allow it. No two objects may occupy the exact same space at the exact same time. Love and hatred cannot coexist in the human heart. It is not possible. If you have love for any human being, then you love all human beings. You may not love what all human beings do. You may hate some of the things that human beings do, but you will never reduce any human being to an object or to a thing. You will always remember that that's a human being I'm dealing with. And you will never commit crimes against the human family. But when you have hatred in you, you will commit crimes against humanity, because it's easy for you to look at a human being and not see a human being, but you will see an animal, or you'll see something that you can justify with your evil mind. You can justify doing to them what you would not appreciate being done to you or someone that you consider a friend. Of course, Your friends, they ain't safe from you either, because the minute they disagree with you, you will get rid of them too. Because you have no real friends. In order to have true friends, you must be a true friend. So, you remember a good example? Donald Trump used to brag on Michael Cohen, didn't he? What a great lawyer he was. Michael Cohen bragged on Donald Trump, how he would take a bullet for him. But what happened? Neither one of them really have any love in their heart. That so-called friendship was a friendship of convenience. It was more a partnership. Do you understand? You see? And so, when things got hot, every man for himself. Huh? All right. You see? You can pretend that you will lay down your life for each other, but we know better. We know that ain't true. The only one who lay down his life for his friend is one who has a heart full of love. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friend. What did Abraham do when his friend, who happened to be God, told him, go and sacrifice your son? Is that normal for a father to be willing to go sacrifice his son? Most fathers will give a life for their children. Huh? Abraham wasn't no exception to that. He would have rather that God told him to sacrifice himself. But he was willing to do whatever his friend told him. So, these are things that we like to share with you. So they working the William Lynch thing on America now. That's why they had to dumb you down some so you wouldn't recognize what was being done to you. You know, you look how you let the people in Congress get away with ignoring your voices when you told them don't pass that tax cut. Why did they pass it? And what was that their way of telling you? That you ain't our boss. We don't work for you. You still ain't figured it out, have you? Just like the so-called Negro, we didn't need white people to kill us. We was running around here killing us. We still doing it. The Crips and the Bloods, who was they killing? Drive-by shootings. Shooting who? People that look like them. You sitting up talking about Black Lives Matter? Yes. Actually, you know, if it matter to who? You didn't seem to have no problem when it ain't no, when black people just going around, black-skinned people going around just killing black people. You ain't said nothing. The Muslim, the black Muslims, is the only ones that was walking around in the black community that truly showed you that black lives do matter. The rest of you, when we tried to get you to care about each other, you told us that that's hate teaching. I don't want that old paper. That's what you said. Now you run around here talking about you black and proud. And you don't even want to acknowledge that it's the Muslims who taught you to be black and proud. You didn't get that from no place but us. You sure didn't get that in church. You learned that in Muhammad's temple. And now during Black History Month, you never even mentioned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're a bunch of hypocrites, man. And you can't talk about Donald Trump because you just like him. He don't give President Obama credit for nothing. And yet the good economy, if it hadn't been for the Obama administration, you wouldn't have no good economy now. This wasn't Donald Trump's doing. But he tried to take credit for it, just like you try to take credit for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's doing. Now, if I'm lying, how come ain't nobody calling me on it? How come you don't tell me that that's not so? You know why you can't tell me that wasn't so? Because I've been here just that long. I know where we came from. I know who started Black Pride. I know where all that came from. I was there. You're not going to lie about history to me because I was part of it. You see? So I'm telling you, you better get it straight while you got time. It's just the end. And you know the end of anything is the beginning of something else. Huh? You see? Unless you're going to redo that thing again. You know, when you come to the end of a road, it's another road you got to get on. Huh? Or they call it a dead end. Why is it called a dead end? Because it ain't connected to no other road. You got to turn around and go back up. Yeah. Well, this government of America is just a shadow of the world to come. I think that this is in Colossians. I'm about to cut it off now, but I wanted to show you this. In Colossians, the chapter 2, the second chapter, and let's go to the it says in the 16th verse. It says, let no man therefore, let's see. Let's see. That's a long, it requires a lot of explanation. Well, let's start at the 13th verse. And you, being dead in your sins, you were dead in your sins because I had not come and spoke to you. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall be what? Remain where? You was dead in sin. You was in sin and didn't know it. Do you understand? Then it says, and the uncircumcision of your flesh hath he quickened together with him, having forgiven you all your trespasses. Now, who got power to forgive you? The Son of Man. And it said, blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us. You notice the scriptures. I took that away from you and told you, no, that ain't for you. That's for me. I'm for you. Huh? And it says, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross. Then it says, and having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. You notice, when you spoil something, you get in there. It's just like when you got food and you canning it. As long as nothing from the outside can get in the way of air and whatnot, it'll keep. But if something from the outside get in, it spoils it. You notice, I wasn't in politics, but once I started getting in it, then I started telling you all of the crookedness and stuff that was going on in there, right? I started explaining it to you. Huh? Just like before I got up and told you, look, you need to vote in every election. If you really want the majority to rule, for the majority is in a Republican, in a Democratic republic, it is a representative of the public government. And so if the public don't always, if the majority of the people don't always go vote, if everybody in the country don't go vote, then you really ain't got no majority ruling. You got the majority of the people who voted ruling. But if the majority of if the people who are of voting age, if all go and vote, then you have a government that actually reflects the majority of the people in the country. And those, once you get that majority in the House, in the Senate, and in the White House, then the majority of the people's elected officials are the ones that get to govern, and they get to guide the nation, which is what you say you wanted. But anyway, see how I told you, people who's in Congress should have been and told you that you need to vote in every election if you truly want the majority to rule. Then you better make sure the majority is represented in your Senate and in your House of Representatives. Okay, next it says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon, in other words, of Ramadan, or of the Sabbath days. See, I told you the Bible is a Muslim scripture. Then it says, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. Why does it say is a shadow of things to come? The government that you see right now, that's governing the whole planet, it's just a shadow of things to come. You notice if if you used to the sun, if you used to facing the sun as it's rising in the east, and the sun all of a sudden rise from the west, and you facing east, where's your shadow at? No, it's not. It's in front of you. If you facing east and the sun rising from the west, you're going to cast a shadow in front of yourself. Do you understand? And so likewise, you've been looking at a shadow of things to come with this new world. As Abraham Lincoln said, our forefathers brought forth to this continent a new nation, a new idea of how a nation should come up. And with the help of Allah, they brought it into being. And it has been a shining city on the hill for a while. And you see people still coming in caravans trying to get to America because it's the city on the hill. Do you understand? But now that they done got here, they done found out it's a mirage. Because they coming up and they getting their babies kidnapped. And they being met instead of with compassion and with respect. They see barbed wire being put up out there. To a country that said, bring me your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. I lift my lamp beside a golden door. Now they see a gun standing beside that door. And ain't no light by it. And they being wrongly accused. And you letting this man and his wickedness, you letting him represent the whole country? And you know better. Now you can sit up all that with all that rhetoric talking about, I know we're better than this. Well, you better start showing that you're better than that. There's a remedy for people who is in any office that they are not up to, and that does not really represent the true principles that this government claims that it represents. You don't have to take nobody's life. You just remove them from office.
So you have a question from someone.
What is your question?
His name is Black Cloud Miami. He asks, why is it called the White House?
It's called the White House because that's what it was. It was named the White House because it belonged to white people. It's the people's house. You see, it's a lot of things that they will eventually change, you know, if they live, if they live out their creed. And they will call it the people's house. That's what it should be called, the people's house. And at the time when it was called the White House, you remember slavery, you know, they had fought war and slavery was still happening. And they had things that was going on and everybody was, you know, in a different mindset. So they called it the White House. So, you know, but, you know, they had debate about that even, about what would they call it, the presidential mansion or this or the, you know, but it's actually the people's house. What peoples? The people of the United States of America. And so, you know, I don't fret myself over the fact that I see people as not mature yet. Grown people, they know it takes time for children to mature and put away childish things. I'm helping them put away childish things thanks to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He started that by making sure that the whole world realize that they are our children. And you will now start to show us respect, or you will pay the price for it. Your disrespect is going to cost you, and it's going to cost you more and more and more. Just like the plagues that you read of coming upon Egypt, when Pharaoh didn't take heed after one plague, another one hit him a little worse, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and it got progressively worse until he got drowned for his stupidity. So I want you all to stop trying to set yourself up as a judge of white people. You better worry about them devils that's inside your brain. Because while you call yourself judging them, you're still their product. Why haven't you joined with me? How come you haven't got behind me and started cleaning yourself up and helping me to get black people into a respectful and respectable condition? Why you don't join with me? Sitting down talking about why white people call the White House, that ain't gonna make you righteous. If they built it, they got a right to call it whatever they want. You worrying about the wrong thing, brother. That's what I'm telling you. I'm building something for you, and I'm inviting you to help me. So now I answered your question. Now you answer mine. Are you going to join with me, or are you going to just sit back out there thinking that I'm here for some entertainment for you? Okay. Well, you know what they say. No answer is the answer. Yeah. You know, when people in that's something else I learned from growing up in America. They tell people, yeah, you can invoke the Fifth Amendment. What is the Fifth Amendment? You have the right to not incriminate yourself. And if to refuse to answer, that if the answer will tend to incriminate you. Now, when I ask you the question of, are you going to join with me and help me to get black people up instead of worrying about why white people call the White House? Now you done dumb it up on me. Why you don't answer me? Is it on the grounds that you will be incriminating yourself? Because the answer is, I know why you ain't joining with me. Because you're not ready to straighten up. You're not ready to be righteous. As I know I'm teaching righteousness. If you didn't think I was teaching righteousness, you would have been done said so. And asked me for the $20,000. I even asked you what fault did you find with me? You ain't said you found no fault with me. Then how come you don't join with me? It's because you doing things that you like doing that you know ain't right. And you don't want to change. Anybody else want to ask me some questions? I didn't think so. Anyway, time running out. Time is running out. So then I'm gonna let you go since ain't nobody wanting to ask me no more questions. I told you about Trump coming in here trying to use me for entertainment. I'm gonna put a stop to it.
You have a question from DM, and he asks, how is your school doing?
It's doing fine. It would be doing better if I had more help. How come you don't come and help me? That was not a rhetorical question. I mean, every time our people in Jefferson County get ready to go see a movie or something, they have to leave the county. I'm trying to put up a theater. The seats for the theater are going to cost $100 and something thousand. I need your help. Why don't you help me build up the black community?
He asks, what kind of help do you need?
Yeah, I just told you. If you, whatever tithes that you owe me, you should be sending them. And whatever extra offerings that you can give, you should be sending that. Because you know what I'm doing with it. So send me the tithes and offerings that you're supposed to. And at some point in time, I will also be asking you to come on, move here, and let's put our hand to the wheel together. But right now, I need you to be working, and I need you to be sending me tithes and offerings. Send him the address. Anybody else? The man wants approximately $37,000 to put a marquee out there in front of the theater. I mean, if you're going to do it, you need to do it right or not at all. Well, I'm tired of begging, being a part of a people who don't do nothing but beg. I'm not a beggar. And don't be coming up to me trying to get me to help you go beg for something. So I want you all to help me as much as you can, but not know this. Be intelligent. Now you give me my tithes, because all I will get you for that, you don't give me my tithes. That's a dime out of every dollar that you get. But remember, you got bills you got to pay. Your lights, gas, water. You need gas for your car. You need that. Don't run off of love. It run off of gasoline. You know, you got to eat. So you make sure that you don't be giving me. I don't want to take no food out your mouth. And so you give me tithes, and then if you have offerings, things that you could do without, then send that to me. You won't regret it. You'll see. Trust my word. You'll see. So, since there are no more questions, then I'm going to let you go.
Now he asks, what's the cost of living in Mississippi these days?
I don't even concern myself over the cost of living because it's whatever Allah give us, it's going to be enough. That's what people that don't trust in Allah. You remember when you read in the book where the multitude came and Jesus had a little boy that had brought 3 fishes and 5 loaves, and Jesus told them all to sit down, and he began to break bread. The cost of living is the last thing that you and I have to worry about if we get together. Just get with me, and I guarantee you, the cost of living won't be your worry. And I got witnesses. All my followers, you will never hear them telling me about no worry about no cost of living. The cost of living is submission to God. He will make people help you. And he will make you able to afford whatever they're charging for things. So don't worry about that. You worry about doing what I say. And don't even worry about how you're going to make it. If I call you to Mississippi, if I call you here to be with me and you my follower, that ain't your worry. It's my worry how you going to make it. You think I'd call you here and they ain't going to have a way for you to make it? I'm not stupid. So just trust me and stop worrying about stuff. Worrying about stuff ain't seem to got you nowhere yet. You're still in poverty all over the country. So doing it your way ain't been so good. Now go online and see what I've been doing. You asked me how my school doing. How many other black people can claim they built a school for their children and got it modern like I got out? I'm not worrying about nothing but pleasing Allah. That's what my teacher taught me, and I bear witness. Your best preparation for the future is to see that your present duties to Allah are well done. So, any more questions? Send me all that you can, brother, but don't hurt yourself. I ain't trying to, don't make no robber out of me. No, pay your bills and give me what's left. There you go. Oh, now that's the sacrifice you can make. Give me what you have left after bills. And you'll see, you'll never regret it. If you stick with me, you will. It's like that's the best investment you can make, is to invest in the Lord himself. And that's me. You see, you add up everything that you give me and then look what I give you back, and you'll see you made a wise investment. So you ain't got to feel slighted, because everything I do is geared for your prosperity. Now, you let me worry about how it's going to do it. You just help me. Then you'll see. I ain't no liar. So, may Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds. And you make sure you keep up that prayer. You need to be in your right mind. Now, remember now, we are all afflicted. Pay attention in class, and Allah's word will help you to be able to resist your devils. As the Jesus said, how often should I forgive my brother? And the man asked Jesus that. He said, I don't say 7 times. I say until 70 times 7. Now, I would take it even further. I tell you how often to forgive your brother. As often as you want Allah to forgive you when you offend him. Because I know you can't help it sometimes. That's why I ignore it and just forgive you. You know? But if you trying, you're going to get forgiveness. I don't care how many times you do it. If I know you trying to do better, then I'll forgive you. And you ain't even have to ask. I'll say, oh, poor thing. How I know they need forgiveness. I know I need forgiveness. I say things sometimes that I ain't had no business saying. Then I have to come back and tell you, hey, look, man, I didn't have to say that. I shouldn't have said that. Or whatever. You know, I'm dealing with my devils. All of us got some devils to deal with. So stop worrying about the devils outside of you. They ain't yours. The ones that's inside of you, you can deal with them. Do you understand? As Jesus said, first get the beam out of your own eye. Get the devil out your own head before you start talking about getting it out of somebody else's. Huh? Yeah, so that you can think clearly and see clearly how to help your brother fight his devils. I tell you, the best way to help your brother fight his is to let him see you fighting yours. Take 2 to argue. Don't take but 1 to forgive. Even Mr. Lynch knew that. He said, you got to put the old one against the young one and the young one against the old one. Because if it ain't working both ways, it ain't going to, pretty soon, ain't going to be working no way. Because it ain't creating no chain reaction. So when your brother or your sister offend you, think about how we got this way and just forgive them, even if they don't ask. The way you forgive it is you let it roll off of you like water off a duck's back. You understand? You don't have to say something every time somebody says something that offends you. You don't have to say anything, and you don't have to react. You can choose to say, well, my poor little sick brother or sister here. You can say that to yourself. And you might even tell them, well, I'm sorry if you took what I said wrong. I didn't mean nothing by that. That beats roaring back at them when it ain't gonna do no good. And the more you practice peace, the more you will want to practice it, because your blood pressure will go down. Everything that's been ailing you, some of them little aches and pains you've been having, they'll disappear. And you'll discover that the greatest heaven that you can enter into when you believe in God, the greatest heaven that you will ever enter into is peace of mind and contentment. And you become well pleased with yourself, especially when you see how much you have grown. Okay. So, forgive and you shall be forgiven. And you are helping the person, whether they have sense enough to know it or not. Eventually, they'll realize that by your example, you was actually helping them. So you get a double reward. You get the reward of controlling yourself and realizing that Allah's word was right. The good that you was doing, it may have been to someone else, but it was for your own peace of mind and well-being. Okay. So, may Allah's salam alaikum.
Your conference recording has stopped.